Yeah.
So you have that experience with Ika. Contact is reestablished. You got all these memories back now. So did you have more contacts with him? I mean, and how often have you had the contacts? And what's the nature, or what has been the nature of your relationship with him?
Yeah. So at first it was just that he came and he just hugged me and held me. And then he would just follow me around. So he would be there. Just as I went about my day, he would spend a lot of time there. And then he would start to talk to me. So he would just kind of just watch me, and I could feel him right there and right in back of me or on the side or something. I almost felt like I was going to smack into him because I'm a very jerky person. I move, I run around, I'm very quick. And I would turn around and jump back because I felt like I was going to smack into a tall man. But, I only came up maybe to his chest. And it's, and I just, whoa, and I go, then I got to the point where he's like, don't stand close back to me like that. So then we started interacting. He rides with me in the truck. And little by little, he just sort of began to introduce that he wanted a romantic, that we had a romantic relationship. And that was kind of like I kind of suspected that there was something there. But yeah, he started to kind of slowly allow that, because I had told him that, I'm afraid because I fear humanoids. I fear human form. So he had to take a little bit more cautious approach to what he would do was desensitize me. I know what he was doing now. So he would just sort of like touch me over and over to kind of, my body would be like, human, and it would just, it got better and better and better. And our relationship just got connected more and more through the telepathy, and we would have conversations.
Okay, so with the relationship with Ika, I mean, he's with you a lot, traveling with you, but is it like always in the astral form?
Yes.
Okay.
Now he's in the astral, yes.
Okay, so when you say you had a romantic relationship with him, I mean, he's in the astral form. So that relationship is not like a normal type physical relationship.
It is.
Well, it is, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I help people with that because it's incredibly real. I can feel him like he's solid. I can smell him. He wears the perfumes. I can touch him. I can feel him. We can share food. Like if I eat something or he eats something, we can share that. Our bodies have been synced. It's anything that if he becomes frightened, I can feel that. If I become frightened, he can feel that. So we're completely synced. I see him in, like, when I teach people this. So your eyes only collect light and information, but your brain actually is what sees. So when you're telepathing, you're bypassing your eyes and you're just seeing with your brain. So I see him close up. And he shows me things. I can see through his eyes. He can see through my eyes. One of our sort of, I call it the Reconquista, when we first started to get close again, I got a absolutely photographic visual of him. And the wind was blowing his hair down, and I was like, that's so strange, And then I realized he was in a helicopter, and everything else came into view, and he was wearing a uniform.
Cela a une fois de plus prouvé la puissance du symbole.
And I said, oh my God. I said, are you in the military? I was like, it's the military. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, do they know you're going to get killed? Are you crazy? And I was just, so I told my friend Patrick, I said, Ika just showed me this morning, he's in a helicopter. He's in the military. And Patrick's like, no. I'm like, yeah, the guy's going to get himself killed. What's he doing? So it's absolutely, photographic.
So Ika was part, or is part of, an extraterrestrial contingent that's serving with the military, or the US Air Force in particular?
Yes. He is currently at Cheyenne Mountain.
Okay. So what's he doing at Cheyenne Mountain?
Right now he's working with the, it's a task force that is dealing with how they're going, well, he's just part of it because obviously it's global, but first contact for Envoys, Starseeds and Envoys. They're It's all of the different ways in which people, so it's one-on-one basically, how the extraterrestrial family member is going to be physically connected to their Earth starseed envoy walk-in person.
Okay, so this extraterrestrial contingent working out of Cheyenne Mountain, they're locating different starseeds.
Well, they know that, well, everybody's tracked. They're all the starseeds are tracked. Yeah.
Well,
so he's just working with a certain section, and it's not just a Cheyenne Mountain; it'll be at different bases. But yeah, they're getting ready for contact. In fact, one of my friends just had it.
Okay, so I mean, what happened with your friend? I mean, that contact. What are we talking about? A ship landing, or them meeting an extraterrestrial?
It's going to be based upon where you are, what your contact is. So are they human or are they not? And it's going to be done in stages. So the initial stage is for people who have already had significant contact with, if you're going to have a physical meeting. So this is what we negotiated upstairs and as well as down here, that we want physical contact as soon as you can do this. So I have a group of people of Starseeds that I work with here that have been in negotiation to move things forward with Galactic Federation staff and with our ET contacts. So to be broad, I have this very specific outline that Ika gave to me of what they're doing on my channel, so people can go. It's very, very detailed. It's like almost, I think it was over an hour that I explained all of the different contingencies that have been arranged for. It's actually 2 videos that I did, so it's 2 hours worth of. It's very, very complicated. So security obviously is number 1. So areas are being prepared, have been prepared. They've already done. So they'll use things like, it looks like an orb, and it'll read the area. It'll also frequency clear the area. They have sent down people as well, physically and astral, to check out the situation about where the different contact meetup places are going to be. People who have had the envoys, only envoys, this is not for Earth people, just the envoys and starseeds. People who have had contact already and are in telepathic communication with their family will have physical contact first. The next group will be those who are in contact with non-human looking. So Arcturians, Andromedans, people can be a type of benevolent gray, some where this person cannot walk down the street. That contact is going to be a little bit more complicated. You may actually be brought up onto a ship. So, but it's going to be one-on-one. So for my friend who just recently had contact with her Arcturian brother, she saw a ship and experienced a very close astral contact. So that was her first contact. And for each person around the globe, it's going to be very, very, it's going to be last minute. You're not going to get much, they can't give much, warning. And yeah, from what they said, it's now. It is now.
Okay, so this extraterrestrial contingent working with the Air Force based at Cheyenne Mountain, they're kind of like keep being in touch with all the starseeds that are human looking, and they're kind of helping prepare the groundwork for them to have a direct physical contact with their star family.
Right. Yes. Yes. Some will have it with their family, depending on your family. If your family is ready, they're already on board with all this stuff, they will be able to meet this person. So there already are extraterrestrials by the thousands walking, living here on Earth already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's been going on for a long time. So, but they're already walking here. It isn't that, it's not going to be usual, but it's just complicated. So some of the, it isn't just Ika. There's many, because it is so complicated. It is a one-on-one process. because there are areas of the planet where it is dangerous to do this. So they have to kind of figure out. I mean, none of it is 100% safe. And they want to be clear about that. You know, it's so
100% safe in terms of like the military or the government.
yeah, we were asking,
It
you
down?
know, yeah. So what I've been told is that it's sort of the rogue elements that are still sort of peppered around. They still have extraterrestrial technology, even though, well, we have extraterrestrial technology. Yeah, we saw it way, but yeah, they're still, you know, a very small risk, but not a zero risk. Yeah.
I see. So you've got this kind of like contact or first contact scenario being promoted by the extraterrestrial contingent working with the Air Force, and that's being opposed by remnants or elements of the deep state that's wanting to sabotage that.
So they know. They do not have the capacity to oppose it, but they have the capacity to mess up a few aspects of it, possibly. What they're concerned with is regions where contact would be deleterious to the population, where you would have backlash from the humans on the planet who aren't ready for it. So they're worried about that. And that's why it has to be done in secret. And again, depends on where you are. They're also worried about the bad guys, the deep state remnants, using this experience to launch counter psyops. So there's actually, there was, if I can remember, I had 2 hours worth of notes he gave me. So there was, the first one they were worried about was just destabilization of individuals, like in a family, right? So Ika told people, depending on your situation, don't go spreading the word. Don't be running around. I just met my, Syrian, wife. He says, don't go tell the public yet. Keep it very secret. He says, and that would be also something that you would do with your family, if your family is also going to understand this. My family knows already. They know who Ika is. That's not. We have ships over my house all the time, so it's not, for me, it's not a big deal. But for many people's families, it could be a big deal. So they're trying to avoid domestic upheaval. That's one thing. Secondly, is they're trying to avoid media-based psyop that would be sending out information to frighten the population. Oh, there's aliens, that kind of thing. Because you still have a certain percentage of the population that might be on the border of, okay, this is okay, I understand that. Look, you're on a planet floating in space. So there are billions of planets. There's people who are on the cusp of that. This is new to them, and they're processing it. So if it's done correctly, which is part of what my mission is now, these people will calmly accept this new reality. But if the media then begins to seed their minds with doubt, this could kind of mess up where we're going. The next group are those that are a little bit more, and these could even be conspiracy theorists, those people who doubt everything. They're fearful of everything. They're the kind that sort of watch dark videos all the time about how everything's going to collapse in the world. You're in a flat Earth with all kind of it's all we're all going to die. That group. This would be a trigger for them, where the bad guys would use this as an opportunity to psyop even more. This is happening. It's the end of days or whatever. Don't trust these extraterrestrials. They're all bad. They're all with the bad AI. They're all, they'll go on with their psyops that way. That's another fear they have. And the worst fear is that you have segments around the globe who are violent and who are deeply receptive to being manipulated for whatever, I hate to say things like religion, but that is one of them, or belief systems, cultural belief systems, what have you, who would openly try to be violent. And then the deep state would enact violence and say it was the extraterrestrials, who will not use any violence. They will. So we have a thing in place. Should violence erupt, they will teleport. They will, they will not resist. There will be no sort of counter violence on their part. But, right, if they want to formulate that kind of story, this could get very complicated. So that's where we stand now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do know that there is a extraterrestrial contingent working with the US Air Force, and
Yes.
a kind of human-looking Nordics that I have been working with a military, ex-military now, whistleblower or witness, JP. We just use his initials, right. And he did meet on actually more than one occasion one of these extraterrestrials working at a military base. So this is absolutely happening, and he's talked about agreements. So, and you're talking about agreements between extraterrestrials and the military, and there's kind of like those that are working for the White Hats or the Earth Alliance or a positive agenda. Cheyenne Mountain sounds like that's a kind of important base for that.
Yes, Eco works directly with humans.
Mm-hmm.
He's allowed to walk around the base. He's met many of he showed me meetings where he's talking to, I guess they call them airmen, non-officers.
Right.
And he shows, he likes them. And they're very, they really like meeting him. Like he makes them feel good. So, but yeah, he works and he showed me meetings with officers. I can't, he's not supposed to show me these things. So it's kind of always, he showed me some of, he tells me now it's kind of okay to express them, but along the years he showed me what he was doing, which he wasn't supposed to do. But yeah, he even tried 2 years ago. He tried to physically meet with me.
Well, just before you describe the physical meeting, I mean, just so the audience kind of knows, when you're saying he showed you these things, you're talking about you being able to see through his eyes.
Yes.
That you're connected in that way.
Yes.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah. So I saw the med beds.
I know Elena Danan describes her relationship with Thorhan Eredyan in pretty much the same.
Yes, there's millions of people that have this relationship.
Interesting.
Yeah, they just don't come forward because they get rid. The clients that I work with, they get 100% contact, real contact, full on. Portals opening up in their teleportation. They see all kinds of strange things happening, light anomalies, craft, but they don't. And I tell them not to tell people. People have met Ika. He talks to anyone. He doesn't, if he has, he always tells me I'm just a man, but he's met several people. They know who he is. He doesn't go by the name of Ika on the base. He has a different name. But yeah, this is not rare at all. This is just. People are coming out of the woodworks now because they feared ridicule, not only from other people around them, but they actually feared ridicule from within our community itself.
So have you actually met Ika physically?
Yes, when I was a child. Okay,
physically when you were a child, and more recently?
No, he tried. It wasn't safe. I told him it wasn't a good idea. I said, "You're going to get killed. How are you going to do this?" And he was really trying to figure out ways. And he would compel me to be places. He's like, "Be there tonight, be here tonight." And I'm just like, "No, it's not. It's not."
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so you knew intuitively that you were being watched and that it wasn't safe for Ika to physically survive.
I'm like, you'd have to use a craft, and it's not safe. No.
Yeah.
Conversations like I'm having with you. Not just Ika. I talk to all kinds of people. I talked to Val Thor. So I've talked to, of course, Simyasi, and I talked to all of my clients' contacts.
Well, Val Thor, I mean, he's the kind of like Venusian ambassador that, like let's just say went to the Eisenhower administration in the 1950s. That's the same one. So, what's your relationship with him?
I don't so much. My relationship is more that I'm the kind of Pony Express between, I'll say, Frank Chili. So he's his contact. He knows Frank Chili. So Frank Chili thinks he can telepath. So Semiosi is also great friends with Frank Chile. So we've been trying to get Frank to telepath.
For those that don't know, Frank Chile is this UFO researcher that's been around for decades, and we worked with Frank on the Bill Tompkins memoirs. So he goes back a long way.
Yeah, he's just a great guy. I love Frank. So Frank asked me he wanted to talk to Val, and I said, well, let me see if I can get in touch with him for you. And I did, and Val was just absolutely lovely.
How did you do that? How did you get in touch with Val?
So what I do is it's a brain. So this isn't people. Everyone can telepath, and that's why people who think they can't, you can. It's brain waves. So brain waves are like scalar. So that's how they communicate upstairs, and you just simply send that intent to the person you're trying to contact. You're basically dialing their phone number, and their phone rings and they answer. And sometimes they're busy, so you make sometimes I'll connect with people and I'm busy, or they're busy, or they connect with me. So basically you just feel them come in. You can feel them and they'll show themselves.
Now, do you do anything to prepare yourself for that, just to make sure that you don't get some astral entity imitating who you're trying to phone?
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about it. I'm not afraid of them. You know right away if it's something like that. No, I've never had an issue.
How would you know?
But I just get rid of them fast. I don't mess with I have. That was actually due to Frank. He sent me on some goose chases. Oh, Frank, that's no good. So yeah, I just knocked on his door, and he answered, and I just hurriedly said, Frank Chile wants to talk to you, and I was just pulling back, and he just kept pushing in. And he's like, no, I want to have him. I want to talk to Val. I'm like, okay. And he said, so we actually go to Venus, and he sits me down, and he holds my hand, and he's like, no, he's telling me, you need to, we're going to have a conversation. And I don't want, I just felt, low self-esteem, human stuff. And he's like, no, we're going to have a conversation. He's like, we're going to take the time to talk. And Jillian came over actually as well. And I told him, I thanked him. I thanked him for the work that he did here, and how it made me so nervous when he was here, and he's laughing, and I'm like, oh, it's like, and I said, well, Frank would like to talk to you. And he says, well, I'm going to take Frank on a ship. He says, we'll just have a rain check. And I said, okay, so let me tell Frank. Well, he took him up that night.
Okay. So you said that they took you to Venus, or Val Thor took you to Venus. We're talking
astral
or astral?
Astral. They do a lot almost everything is astral. We do a lot of work astral. Yeah.
A lot of work astral. Okay. So
they do a lot of work astral. Yeah. It's easier. Because if I need to meet with somebody on Jupiter, they would have to physically bring a ship, teleport me to the ship, then take me over to Jupiter. And that's hard on your body. And it's just messy. It's like, why to them, it's not, the physical isn't so much.
Right. Has that happened to you? I mean, I know you described when you were a child, being taken up into the ships. Yeah. But as an adult, have you been physically taken up into the ships, or has it always been kind of like an astral experience?
All astral. Okay. Well, I was taken up by the military.
Okay. Yeah. You described that when you were 5 to 8.
Ships. I have to ask Ika again. As far as I know, it's been all astral, and he goes astral as well. So he doesn't really leave. Sometimes he leaves the base, but mostly the work that he does upstairs, he goes astral as well. So we would have things that we would have to do upstairs. He would come to me, and he would tell me we're going up. So they would also bilocate me. Mm-hmm. So you get placed. When I was working with the Galactic Federation as the spy, I would be bilocated onto ships, but I was also bilocated to bases, military bases, where I would meet with guys in their, star uniforms, their GFW uniforms.
Bilocated. So again, that's the astral. But it feels like you're physically there.
You can smell so I I could see I talked to them. I could see the area. I was on the, you feel like you're on solid ground. I could smell the pine trees. I could smell their uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
It smelled like metallic, like shop to me. It had like a strange smell. Like two of the guys, there were two blonde guys, and two blind guys wore blue uniform, and one dark-haired, short-haired man. He seemed to be in control of those two, and the other higher ranking. He wore a silver uniform.
Okay.
But they also bilocate me. They would be dressed in street clothes, and they would bilocate me to the cars they were driving. They were in, and I would just sit in the car with them and tell them all my information.
Okay. Okay. Now, this connection with Ika and Cheyenne Mountain, and you being able to see everything. When did that happen?
This was recent, because he was out of California for quite a while, but he would travel around. Sometimes he would be in Florida. So when he would go to Florida, he would try to meet up with my friend Linda in Florida, and they would spend time together. So he would relax with her, and but he would move around because he was doing some of the time travel stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing some of that. So yeah, this was, who was the last person to tell me? Just a couple of weeks ago.
Okay. Well, when was the first time that you recall being able to see through Ika's eyes?
That would have been a couple of years ago, when he showed me the med bed technology, the healing technology, on a base. And it was like, it was all of a sudden I get this, it's almost like a flip book, because he wasn't supposed to show me. So it was like somebody was showing me pictures of, that's how fast his brain works. He was flip booking it. And I said, whoa, I can't, that's too fast for me. And then he slowed the pictures down. And I said, he was standing up on like I have like the worst military understanding. It was in a large hangar. He was standing up on like a balcony area, and there were contractors with trucks, and they were loading these like tube type, some kind of devices all packaged up. And he was just showing me like fast, like, I'm not supposed to show you this. And I'm like, oh, he's like, this is the stuff. I was also shown in a very vivid image, two tall, I'm assuming they were they're blonde. They resonate. So I feel the resonance of the extraterrestrials. I know what they are. They don't have to tell me who they are. I just feel what they are. And they were actually, it was two men. They were actually in a hospital. I said, what is going on? And there was nurses there and doctors, and they were explaining to them this new technology. I said, this is nice. So that was 2 years ago. So it was a remote, they showed me a remote view of what I'm assuming is to come.
I see. So I just wanted to kind of get an idea of when or how much of what you've experienced is, I mean, these are things that you clearly remember, as opposed to things that some might say, well, you've read the books of Elena Danaan, and that a lot of that has influenced your experiences, that these are actually just imagination as opposed to real, contact experiences.
Which is what that's why I do what I do, is to help people who are afraid to come forward, because it's critical to the mission that all these people step forward. And that's just extrapolation, these are the experience I've had since a child, and my experiences are completely different. If someone was to compare, Elena Danaan and her work, and mine there's apples and oranges. So there's really no, because I tell people, and Ika always reminds people, everyone's on a different mission.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone, no matter what you're here to do, your piece of the puzzle is critical to the entire mission. So never compare yourself to other people, number one. Number two, you have the experiences that you are meant to have. And if you haven't had experiences yet, you can have them. It's not, more than likely you're blocking them. But no, everyone's is absolutely crucial that they step forward in some way that they feel safe. No one's putting people in dangerous situations, but you know, that's the whole. When I I resisted making my channel for a whole year, actually. But they kept forcing me and forcing me and forcing me. And I said, I don't want to do this. I don't want to, I'm not a public person. I just want to get out of here. And like, no, you have to do this. You have to do this. And it was September when I had a cave. Ika wanted to do it. That's when I lost my job, basically. I got laid off, and I was like, all right, you know what? We're going to do it. And my channel is not about me. My channel is giving the other contactees through, I guess, me standing out there, not caring anymore. I tell anybody in the general public I'm married to and a helmet. I tell them I don't care. And it's just making people step forward. And the general, what your average person who is a contactee, some of their experiences are unbelievable. Unbelievable. And they're just afraid to step forward because, one, they don't want to be, their families can be a problem. Two, could be work situations. And I would say probably the main reason most people don't want to step forward is because of the ridicule within our community itself. Right.
Well, yeah, there definitely is a lot of ridicule. There's a lot of debunking that goes on. But, you know, in your case, you got
deep states. That's a great way to support the deep state.
Right. Well, yeah, that definitely is what the deep state does. Now, in your case, I mean, you have a professional background. You know, you taught for 19 years at Worcester University, and you know, you develop a reputation as being an academic. But you know, you still decided, despite that, to come forward to talk about your experiences that go back to childhood. So you have memories based on these childhood experiences, and they kind of like, that's, as you've described, they've evolved. You've remembered more and more at age 40. You had this big information dump. So I mean, just, you know, when was that? Just to get more context, you know, that big information dump at 40 where you remembered all of the abductions, the MyLabs, and the contacts.
Those came in after. The big download that everything I experienced was real came immediately when Ika first stepped into my space.
And when was that? What year was that?
That was 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
That was I was still with I was working with Louise at that point, and I told her, I said, "Oh my God!" Okay. I said it happened.
Okay. So this was you know, around 2020, I guess, then, right?
Yeah, it was around 20. Right? Yeah, 2020. Yeah.
2020. Okay.
It was around March of that year. Yeah. No, actually, it was March 2020.
Interesting. Okay, so that was around the same time as Elena Denan started to kind of like have her experiences, and there are some important parallels. You know, you've mentioned the Galactic Federation of Worlds, and you know, being able to see through the eyes, and you also have mentioned Adana, this commander with the Galactic Federation, that you know her.
Yes. Yes.
Describe that. How do you know her?
I just work under her.
Can you explain that? I mean, you work under her. How did that happen?
She just basically said, "You're doing a great job," and you know, and you and Ika, and so I basically work under Ika. I have met her, but I don't, like, you know, there's so many people that work under her. It's not, you know, she is leaving. There's a new person coming in. I work with him more. He's a very close contact of mine. But yeah, what's happening now is that these Starseeds, whatever, envoys, are coming online en masse very quickly, and they need to understand they are themselves first contact, and that they're going to be getting information through their either directly themselves. They're going to start to realize what they're doing when they go upstairs. And what Ika and I are doing now is Ika is funneling the information through me, and I'm just presenting it. And I'm also working with some other people who have to remain behind the scenes due to their mission right now. And they're also sending me information that I consider myself a secretary right now. I'm just the messenger for what information is coming through from, and they wanted me to, they want to contact you as well. So they wanted to reach out to you.
Okay, well, we are connected now, so I guess that establishes a line of contact with.
Avez-vous déjà entendu parler de ce médecin de la NASA qui a dévoilé une astuce cérébrale de 7 secondes qui vous rend super intelligent?
You're kind of like ET friends. So what do you see happening over the next few years? I mean, have you been given an idea of what lies ahead?
Yes. So I'm a very skeptical person because they've kicked the can down the road, and we've gone upstairs, throwing chairs basically. To be fair, I don't go upstairs, and they know me upstairs. I'm not very. I let them have it. So we demanded that this get moved forward. So this was supposed to have happened in January. That got pushed forward. So we said, people are suffering down here. This is about compassion. This is not something that you can just kind of play politics and let it all slide and, let Earth kind of do its thing. And like, we don't have time for that. We need the technology down here, because we can't even do our jobs. We have people who are the envoys in the direct ET context down here that are in Terran bodies that, can't pay their rent, are having a hard time getting work because they've been targeted by agents and all. We've had, it's a war. So we've demanded changes be made. And those changes were made. So I tell upstairs and I tell everybody, and that's the point of my channel, is that they better deliver the information that I am handing to you. So the information they're saying right now is that it is contact now for the Starseeds envoys. This is it. Within the next month, almost everyone should have contact through June 21st.
Okay, so most of the people watching this interview on my channels, I mean, they're going to be Starseeds. I mean, the vast majority of them will be Starseeds. So you're saying all of them through June are going to have some kind of contact?
That's what they said. And we said, we mean we want physical contact. We don't want the same astral stuff we've been doing. We want physical contact. And they said, yes, physical contact. We're not just going to come, shake your hand and leave again. Like, okay, so we don't want that either. We want to live with you. Right? We want full contact. So they said, yes. Now, I always say the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So, and I always say they need to deliver. I mean, we're tired of the kick the can. We're tired of the carrot dangles. We're tired of just sitting here waiting for stuff to happen, because really most of certainly people that are on my channel, we don't want to be here anymore. We want to get out of here. We're done with our Earth missions. We want out of I want off. We're not happy here. And, many of us have even gave them that, like either you're going to take us out of here or we're going to take us out of here. So there were some issues with extraction. So that was one of our demands. They said a lot of people want, and this is actually one of the reasons they wanted to connect with you, Michael, because they want the Starseeds to give them their demands. What do you want? What do you want? Because they don't, so now they know. So the people who are Starseed envoys, they need to, when they're in a private place, write down or whatever, speak out loud. What do you want? Say, you want it. I want extraction. I'm done with my mission here. I want contact. I want to have a clearer understanding of my mission, whatever it is that they want. I have a health problem, maybe, right? Something like that. And this is, so they need to send their demands, and there's millions of us. So that's a squeaky wheel. So, the ETs can only do so much, and they've been fighting very strongly on our behalf to give us compassion, to give us some succor down here. So the more Starseeds can scream upstairs that you have demands, and maybe you want to break a contract, whatever it is, it's your life. So yeah, that's the main thing right now. So.
Okay. Well, we're recording this on May 7th, so you were told that June, so we're talking a month from now,
Right.
that the different extraterrestrials, human-looking organizations,
Right.
human-looking extraterrestrials up there, they're going to start having physical contacts with the starseeds that are ready, but for those starseeds to get ready, they need to do what you're describing. I mean, just
send
their desires or their wants.
Yes, send their demands.
Their demands. Okay. Now, I mean, supposedly there's 200 million starseeds all over the planet.
Exactly. That's a squeaky wheel. So let's go. Right.
Okay. So these contacts, I mean, it's not going to happen all at once for all of them, right? We're talking about, it starts in June and then it's just going to continue indefinitely. Is that?
This is what we've been, asking them to clarify. Now I'm going to say, based upon what would be logical, is that the contacts are going to be spaced out. Some are going to be the June one is only for people who have already had significant contact. So someone like me. They're the ones that are going to be getting the initial physical contact.
I see.
Then they're going to start rolling it out. Now, I've talked to Ika about one of my friends. He says, as it stands now, because some of these people are on other planets, they're not part of the military. So you'd be bringing in just a civilian from, right? Say a civilian from Venus who has no idea what's going. It really is not prepared for this, right? So there are more complications with that. So this one person whose husband is still on Erra, they may not get contact till next year.
I see.
So, and again, you have people who have Andromedan contacts, who might be an insectoid, whatever star-seeded here, the non-humanoid, and even some of the humanoid. Those are going to be a little bit more of a logistical challenge. The same thing that this high-ranking officer told me with the extraction demands that so many of us had. He says, we have to watch that because it's going to look like a rapture. So everything that throws a wrench into our abilities to enjoy life basically is coming from Earth humans. They're the ones that, they haven't really raise their awareness to just the common sense that you're on a planet floating in space that makes you an extraterrestrial. Everybody's an extraterrestrial to somebody. So it's just trying to feed the information to your average person that, like, you're a humanoid on planet Earth. There's billions of planets, trillions, out there, the Drake equation, all, they have to get their minds around that yeah, it's which was, of course, the whole psyop of Earth itself. So yeah, we're constantly, going up there and telling them, are you going to do this? Because we're sick and tired of it. Okay.
All right. So June is going to be when those that have been having a lot of ET experiences, astrally and so forth, that they start to have physical contact, and the rest of us that haven't had that kind of astral contact, it'll kind of like unfold gradually over the next year or something like that.
Yeah. And again, you never know, because I have clients that have gone from zero contact to overnight contact, like physical contact, almost physical, astral, but they can, they've gone from zero. I've had clients that have had, they've gone from really not really understanding this to having a portal open up in their house and being in Earth. So
by clients, I mean, you teach a class or you do therapy. What is it that you're doing with people?
Yeah. So I do telepathy for them. So I try not to telepath for them. I try to give them the tools to telepath for themselves. So they're able to then have their own experiences. So what I do is initially contact their person and put them in contact. I also do remote viewing. I teach people how to remote view. I get people contact upstairs, so I'll make connections to them so they can go upstairs. That's, I'm really kind of just I always remind myself of the old telephone operator who's putting the plugs in. Like, that's basically what I do. But I mean, it, you know, that's why I don't want to, none of us can predict what kind of contact someone's going to have, because I've just seen it and witnessed it with my own clients. People who have want to had contact, never had contact. They're so depressed. They've spent years trying to get contact, and they get contact that night. Strong contact. They see ships. They have, you know. So people, what we've been told by the 8 extraterrestrials that I work with in my squadron, whatever you call it, be ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where do people go to find out more about, you know, what you're offering, or if they want to make contact with you? Where do they need to go online?
Yeah, I have, it's growingupalien.com.
growingupalien.com. So if people go there, they get all the information about you, your classes, and they can make contact with you. Well, that's wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing all of this really amazing information. Any kind of final words you want to say, parting words to my audience?
Well, Ego, of course, you know, he's hugging me now. Yeah, he loves everyone, and you know, it's just, our thing is, it's so crucial that everyone steps forward. Everyone remembers who they are. Don't be afraid of anything. Step forward. It's critical.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Dr. Andrea Martin, for sharing your history and your amazing contacts. So thank you and aloha.
Thank you, Michael. It's an honor.
You have been listening to Exopolitics today with Dr. Michael Salla. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Join or start a conversation in the comments. Take the time to explore the vast library of best-selling books, webinars, and podcasts by Dr. Salla. Visit exopoliticstoday.com.